Hey guys, Lee Bratcher, president of the Texas Blockchain Council. We're here in the Texas Capitol interviewing some of the thought leaders that are here in town for consensus and some native Texans and people who have just relocated to Texas. Samantha Lewis is here with me today. Samantha, thank you for being here.
Of course.
I know it's not easy to get to the Capitol. It's not like you drive up and park, but you're here. We're gonna have a conversation about y'all's private equity and venture capital fund, what you're doing in the space. So tell us a little bit about how you got interested, how you got involved, and then maybe before that, your background, and then how you got involved in crypto, and then where you see yourself headed from here.
Yeah, so I'll give a little bit about Mercury first, maybe,
Would love that.
To set it up. So I'm now at Mercury Fund, which is an early stage venture capital fund. We are the oldest VC fund that focuses on early stage investing in Texas. And so we've been around for quite some time. I joined a few years ago to actually lead our Web3 and crypto thesis.
Okay.
So we can get into that. But yeah, we have $1 billion AUM.
Okay.
We are investing across B2B software, B2B2C marketplaces. We do all digital, all software. And now we're getting into blockchain and crypto investing, which is, like I said, why I joined.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking about a lot of the SaaS infrastructure lessons that we learned in the Web 2 world and how that applies to infrastructure in the Web 3 world. So we spent a lot of time doing that. So my background, I started 2 companies after undergrad, one in agri-food and one in beauty, and then did a lot of supply chain logistics during that time.
Okay.
And then I went back to business school. I went to Rice. I was living in Houston at the time and loved Houston, so chose Rice. Rice was a really great community to think, like, intellectually dig into innovation and new ideas. And that's actually where I met the founder of Topl, Chris Georgian, who I know you interviewed earlier. And so Chris and I met in 2016, and he was starting to work on his blockchain company and the first iteration of what Topl has now become. And so Chris, through that, I just got really involved in the community, really thinking about crypto. I started like retail investing myself into crypto. And from there, I started in VC after I graduated from business school. And so then I've been developing a thesis on what blockchain investing looks like for early stage venture since then. So it's been a long time coming. Very excited. We have exposure to a few companies at Mercury and looking to get more.
And some of those are probably in certain stages where you can't talk about them.
Yes.
Others might be, though. Are there any that you can talk about?
Yeah, so Topl.
Yeah.
So Topl is a Texas grown layer 1 blockchain ecosystem company. And they have built products on top of the L1 that allow for companies to easily access, enterprises and startups to easily access what they've built. And so there's an infrastructure play there, as well as the full blockchain ecosystem on the lab side, which is where the blockchain sits. And that's the foundation side. And so we're super excited about that. Topl is, for those of y'all who don't know, Topl is a blockchain built optimizing for complex global supply chains, specifically in agri-food and energy and decarbonization. So it makes a lot of sense that we're in Texas and makes a lot of sense with me, with my agri-food background. And so that's the one that we talk about the most because they've been part of Mercury portfolio since 2020. And like I said, I've known them since 2016. And then, we have another one who's in stealth right now. So we'll announce it soon and later, but they're also in Texas.
Cool.
They are a infrastructure company for allowing legacy content creators and media companies, as well as native crypto companies, to access blockchains. And it's blockchain agnostic. And so you can get onto any chain through it. And it's going to make the onboarding experience for media consumers, as well as media companies, much easier to take advantage of what Web3 has to offer.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, with all of this activity, do you allow some of your LPs or your investors to have direct access and direct exposure to Bitcoin, Ethereum, the other assets?
So we actually don't hold the crypto assets specifically in Mercury as the core fund. So Mercury as the core fund, it's how we were originally set up, and it's how a lot of venture funds that are still doing that aren't just crypto funds we're still holding them as private equity investing. And so not like the liquidity that you get from directly holding onto like ETH or one of the public or one of the decentralized blockchains already. And so right now, the way we do it is through sidecar vehicles.
Sure.
And so with our LPs that are interested in direct access to crypto, then we work with them specifically on those.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like the other day I was speaking with a family office in Central Texas, and the gentleman in his 80s.
Yeah.
And he was.
Did he like it?
He liked it.
Nice.
Liked it.
I love hearing that.
Yes.
That's
and
great.
he's on board. His company's a logistics company. They're going to join the Texas Blockchain Council.
That's awesome.
And he's multi-billion-dollar family.
Yeah.
And so the potential to have conversations. I think when we look at the numbers, young people in Texas, especially, like 52% of people under the age of 26 own crypto in Texas.
Wow.
It's a huge number.
That is a huge
number. But then as you go up, it's slowly or very quickly drops off.
Yeah.
And only 6% of people over the age of 59 own crypto.
Interesting.
So
that's like so much money being left on the table.
It is.
Yes.
It
and
is.
So I think, and that kind of leads to something else I think about a lot when it comes to the blockchain space. And I know, Lee, you've seen this, but we have like, this is one of the most revolutionary things to happen for our generation, for sure, as you look like a millennial. So I'm going to go ahead and assume we're around the same age.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So for millennials, for sure, for Gen Z, right? And so we weren't necessarily out in the workforce when things were happening, like the internet was coming, right? And so this is truly revolutionary for our generations. And that's why I think we're really leaning into it. But the promise of the innovation and the promise of this like decentralized world where there's more democratized access to holding, our own art, our own crypto, our own whatever it might be, our own data, our own wealth, like
data, that's
having
key.
all of that.
Yes.
Like the promise hasn't been fully realized yet. And that's because there's way too much ambiguity still in the space with like regulation, which I know you work a lot on, right? There's way too much on rug pulls and other bad things that are happening to people that don't fully understand who they're working with. And so it's the more the space matures, I think the more comfortable people are going to get with it. And that's how older generations who aren't necessarily tech natives like we are will hopefully start leaning in. And so we actually think about that a lot because the people who are still making key decisions for large enterprises who we want to adopt blockchain, a lot of them aren't millennials or Gen Z, right? And so then how are you making the technology that is built for democratizing access? How are you actually doing that for across ages? Yeah. And so there's a lot of fun startups working on that as well that we like to meet.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So this week we're here in Austin for Consensus. What are like the one or two like top things that you say, I can't miss this party or the speaker or what are those things?
Well, there's a ATX DAO event on Friday.
Okay. And
I've heard great things about the ATX DAO and
I know those guys.
So I've actually never been to one of their events. So I'm super excited about that. We have a private dinner tonight that's really fun. Some of Topl's investors are coming. Our stealth company, they're coming with some of their investors. And so it's just all of us have been meeting over Zoom for so long that half these people I haven't even met in person. Right. So it's going to be super fun. And so it's really just like how we connect with people in this world is so digital that it's going to be really great to just meet people in real life. And so that's what I'm super excited about.
Very fun.
Yes. And we're meeting you again.
In person.
It's been a while.
I know. The TBC has grown through this period of COVID with so many people just building rapport and relationships over Zoom.
Yes.
And over email.
I know. And it's hard. It's really hard to do that.
It is.
I know. So I'm so excited to be in person here in Austin. So easy to get to from Houston.
Yeah.
So.
Well, where can people go to find out more about you and Mercury Fund?
So Mercury is just mercuryfund.com. I have Twitter, Instagram, Medium, Discord. It's all SJoLewis, SJOLEWIS. So that's, if you put that into Google search bar, you'll find all of the ways to talk to me.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thank you.
Thanks for having the conversation.
Yeah.